If you're new in town or just new to this whole podcast thing, you're tuning in to Law by Night, the podcast that discusses all things vampiric with no fear of breaching the masquerade. In this episode, I will decide and unveil which edition of Vampire the Masquerade is the best edition of the goth punk classic. We will look at its core book, a brief overview of the metaplot, and mechanical differences. Since 1992, fans of Vampire the Masquerade have been heavily debating which edition of Vampire is the ultimate compilation of material. Unfortunately for them, all their answers have been subjectively and objectively incorrect. Objectively, because the best version of Vampire the Masquerade is the one that works best for your table. Simple, really. Well, apparently not, as you're not interested in the clear-cut cop-out answers. No. You're here for the subjectively based opinion of your Lord and Saviour, which, as far as this video is concerned, is the objective truth, and if you don't like that, up your dosage of copium. At present, Vampire the Masquerade has 5 editions, with its system, tone, and content evolving gradually, sometimes even within the same edition, and at other times jumping significantly between major releases, as the metaplot of Vampire the Masquerade has continuously progressed, culminating in Beckett Shahad's diary and extending into the latest edition of the game, which, as of the recording of this episode, is 5th edition. It all began in 1991 with the release of Vampire the Masquerade 1st edition, where the focus was very much of the real world and the lonely struggle for mortality. The 1st edition of Vampire takes a deep dive into urban life, honing in on themes of humanity and the haunting riddle, a beast I am, lest a beast I become. This edition is all about a personal kind of horror, exploring the loss of identity to a darker force and the individual's trek into the depths of the beast. It puts a spotlight on fledglings, neonates, and defiant chowder. Creating a ghoul or embracing a mortal requires the permission of an almost all-powerful prince. This era depicts the solitary vampire seeking purpose in an increasingly grim world, where honor and decorum dominate over schemes and conspiracies. The customs of dominions are crucial and vary from one city to another, even as the Camarilla imposes its own regulations. Every city looms like a ghostly beacon amid an abyss of shadows, where the dominion of various princes affords no assurance of sanctuary from one realm to the next. The 7 main clans take centre stage in this edition: Bruja, Gangrel, Malkavian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tremere, and Ventru. Each clan embodies a distinct myth, stereotype, or cultural reference. The Anarchs and Camarilla emerge as the primary kindred factions, often at odds within various domains. Meanwhile, a chaotic Sabbat lurks at the fringes, attacking society and dispatching spies to infiltrate Camarilla territory. The narratives revolve around the quest for morality, unconventional sexuality, the contrasts between the different generations of kindred, isolation, and the connection between the vampire setting and the real world. The edition has a raw, unrefined quality that can be leveraged to create an intense atmosphere where the clans of a city, closely intertwined in the 1st edition, vie for dominance over streets, high-rises, and even parking lots. 1st edition also has a lot of cheese, to the point some may define it as a tad eccentric. Methuselahs seems to be omnipresent in every city, while neonates often found themselves entangled in age-old romances and rivalries that could steer the fate of a location as insignificant as a nightclub or museum. The Gangrel formed uneasy partnerships with werewolves, Malkavians mingled with changelings, the Sabbat remained an enigmatic threat, and age became the ultimate source of fear. And of course, let's not forget the excessive leather, torn fishnets, and growling motorbikes. 1st edition wasn't afraid to embrace the edge of the 90s punk aesthetic, as the concept of game balance was more mythical than the presence of Methuselahs. With the release of 2nd a year later, vampires exist in an endless secret conflict between generations. It also amplifies the gothic punk essence. Institutions are corrupt, culture deteriorates, and the young rise to the challenge the old. Elders maneuver pawns while neonates grow bold and dangerous. Passions take on a dark, romantic edge. The world of darkness truly emerges here, woven with shadow conspiracies, ancient pacts, and long-term manipulation. Characters now have more agency, wielding influence within the supernatural underworld. Elders are fallible, princes, once untouchable, now show weaknesses, bound by secret masters with deeper knowledge. The clans expand, bringing in the La Sombra, Zemitzi, Assamites, Follower of Set, Giovanni, Ravnos, and rarer, more exotic bloodlines. The Masquerade becomes essential for survival, not just a mask of power. Hidden conspiracies like the Inconnu and True Black Hand hint at even deeper worlds, offering player paths outside the major sects. Secrecy is paramount. The Masquerade isn't just about passing as humans, but blending into society. Violence is obscured by misinformation, while the Sabbat tests the traditions. The tone mixes sensuality with a blend of ancient and modern, where clans and sects form communities within massive, far-reaching conspiracies. Second edition broadened the world of darkness, introducing new themes and philosophies of unlife. In short, there was more freedom for your own ideas to find a place here, no matter how unconventional. Second edition builds on first edition's archetypes, expanding on familiar tropes. Its bold and outlandish vampires are often adorned with piercings, flesh-crafted modifications, and new tattoos every night. This edition is where Elysium is likely to host wild revelries with mortals and ghouls as its tense discussion over Sabbat threats. While game balance emerges as a greater focus, flexibility remains. City books like LA by Night showcase numerous neonates and fledglings, whilst Montreal by Night offers some of the most powerful kindred in the series. Rules rise. This edition brings minor changes, tweaks to presence, health level penalties, the adjustments to celerity, potence, and virtue testing. Exceptions like necromancy wielding Kioseed remind players that balance does have its limits. By the time the third edition came on the 12th of August 1998, game balance reached its peak in what would become Vampire the Masquerade Revised Edition, though players could still enter Elysium, defiantly challenge the prince, and then quickly escape using celerity. Notably, Revised is the first edition to include comprehensive discipline rules for all 13 clans in the core book, with each discipline revised for improved balance with its peers. In Revised, players can anticipate that Malkavians will have dementation as part of their clan discipline. The abilities have been updated with expression, performance, crafts, and academics, replacing the previous acting, music, repair, and bureaucracy. Unlike 2nd edition, where several vampires boasted 5 or more dots out of clan disciplines, the revised features characters with a more realistic allocation of abilities. This adjustment enhances game balance for neonate play and ultimately benefits players, as their characters will gain more power through experience relative to most supporting characters. Revised Edition was also the edition that brought about the sign of the end times, and the damned feared what was about to come. Gehenna looms. As omens come true, a clan collapses and desperation grows. Time is running out for the kindred to settle affairs before the final curtain falls. Long-held beliefs are revealed as myths, stripping them of their mystical power. Meanwhile, shocking events unravel what vampires thought they knew. The Camarilla clings to stability in a crumbling world where the Sabbat promises fanatical victory over their hated progenitors. Midnight sieges and crusades are everywhere. Anarchs torn between unity and individuality lose ground as other sects explore their divisions. As a result, domains fall or tighten as tensions amount to civil clashes and open warfare. The Camarilla can barely deny the existence of the antediluvians, as ancient vampires either rise from their slumber or make their influence known after centuries in the shadows. Elders and Methuselahs aren't simply cruel overlords, they are vengeful figures from a forgotten age, retaliating for the betrayals of kindreds past. These powerful beings play out personal vendettas on the continental scale of the Jihad. Further complicating things is the emergence of 4 independent clans as distinct political players, wielding just enough influence to shift the balance between the Camarilla and the Sabbat. They've become unpredictable wild cards in the Jihad. Traditional stereotypes break down, clans diversify, and anti-tribu hold appeal alongside core clans. This is a cosmopolitan world of vampires who wear sharp suits and mirror shades with ghouls to drive them. Elysium hosts more eloquent string quartets than goth classics, embodying a sophisticated global vampire society. In short, The Masquerade begins to tear at the edges with this edition. No single conspiracy can hold the world of darkness together as the old order shatters. The 4th edition of the game was the 20th anniversary edition, often shortened to V20, and was released the 21st of October 2011. Whilst it is considered to be the 4th edition of the game, it was never intended to be as such. Onyx Path Publishing, the developers of most of the V20 line, have said as much. They also didn't release the core book, which was White Wolf Publishing, who were the developers of all the World of Darkness books at that point. V20 blends elements from all 3 previous editions, emphasizing setting progression and mythology but deliberately avoiding a set metaplot. The timeline remains loosely defined, giving it a universal feel until Beckett's Jihad Diary updates it chronologically to around 2006, setting the stage for future editions of Onyx Path wouldn't really adopt. V20 serves as a comprehensive toolkit for Vampire, bringing back long-lost princes, classic bloodlines, and previously ambiguous disciplines now fully fleshed out. Old metaplot threads are re-examined, expanded, or resolved, with a focus on keeping the story open for players to explore. V20 celebrated everything from previous editions whilst keeping it up to date with its particular time period. The likes of the True Black Hand are legitimate threats, and some of the more weirder bloodlines, such as the Kia Seed, are refined, and the likes of the Harbingers of Skulls are included and developed within the metaplot. V20 taps into a wide range of modern vampire media, from romance-laden narratives to profound personal tragedies. Recent vampire stories have expanded what vampire books can explore. The tone spans deeply personal horror, touching on themes of psychological, physical, and sexual terror, to larger, epic threats as weakened clans regain power and anarchs thrive in an age ruled by technology. The spread of technology and the internet makes the old vision of the Masquerade feel outdated. Modern crises, immigration, trafficking, political polarization, and cultural conflicts provide cover for vampires, some of whom lie low while others exploit the turmoil. Embracing technology as fashion, Kindred integrated into their central excesses, pushing the Masquerade into the digital era. Now, the Masquerade isn't upheld by powerful sects alone, but by individual Kindred who rely on manipulation, social media spin, and gaslighting through presence and dominate to maintain secrecy. Vampires hide in plain sight, adapting the Masquerade as a smear campaign, a close-knit group of outcasts, or even illicit migration to a new domain. Contrary to popular belief, stereotyping fades away in this edition, with vampires emerging from diverse backgrounds across the globe. Camarilla members might maintain borderline pleasant relationships with the Sabbat, Setites and Mitzi may align with the Ivory Tower, and some domains even declare independence from all sects. In V20, each city feels like its own unique kingdom, shaped more by its rulers and denizens than by any overarching sect. Vampires in V20 blend into humanity as seamlessly as possible. They dress in whatever suits the setting: suits, hoodies, uniforms, or fetish wear. The music taste is as varied as they are, with a phone shuffling from a thrashing punk to a haunting moving soundtrack at a moment's notice. The most recent of editions, as of this episode's release, 5th edition or V5, was released the 2nd of August 2018 and presented the most extensive rules updates of any edition before it, and moved the metaplot to 2018, with further books advancing the timeline. V5 reshapes both Kindred worlds and their powers, creating a landscape of intensifying threats, clashing ideologies, and unprecedented challenges for vampire society. An attempt is made to return Vampire to the street-level ideologies of 1st edition with the same confusing cheese as well. The Second Inquisition emerged as a global intelligence agencies, recognized vampire influence in finance and politics. Partnering with the Society of Leopold, they established First Light, a covert unit targeting vampires, known as Blank Bodies. Their initial major target is ShrekNet, a Nosferatu information network dismantled by the NSA. In response, the Camarilla adopts a techno hypnophobic stance, avoiding electronic communication to mitigate risk. The Inquisition decimates the Tremere's Vienna Chantry, creating 4 new factions: House Tremere, Ipsimismus, House Carna, and House Goratrix. Tensions escalate between the Sabbat and Camarilla as the Sabbat engages in a Gehenna war against the Antediluvians. The Camarilla responds by aligning with the Ashera and inducting the Banu Hakim clan, otherwise known as the Assamites. The divide between the Camarilla and the Anarchs deepens after the conclave of Galway and Prague, leading the Camarilla to label non-aligned kindred as enemies, prompting an influx of new Anarch recruits, particularly from the Bruja. Clan realignments occur, with the Ministry, the followers of Set, joining the Anarchs and Clan La Sombra siding with their enemies within the Camarilla. Amidst the Elder Exodus, younger vampires find new opportunities for influence. The Finnbloods, now known as the Duskborn, gain visibility in Anarch circles, while the Clans of Death consolidates under the Hakata banner, merging various necromantic bloodlines in the process. Disciplines and blood mechanics have undergone significant changes. Traditional disciplines have been streamlined, with certain powers merging into amalgams that blend related abilities, and each discipline is limited to 5 levels. Blood sorcery now includes both Thaumaturgy and Quietus, while Finnbloods have their own distinct Finnblood alchemy. Moreover, a new blood resonance mechanic introduces effects that vary according to a mortal's emotional state, potentially boosting the vampire's powers, which actually came from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines when it was being developed by Hardsuit Labs. The hunger mechanic takes the place of the previous blood pool system. Hunger introduces hunger dice that can unleash the beast through bestial failures or messy criticals, influencing nearly every facet of a vampire's actions and symbolizing their ongoing struggle for control over the beast within. In V5, a more nuanced humanity system is introduced, and each character holds personal convictions, represented by touchstones, while the group establishes chronicle tenets that guide their collected ethical decisions. This combination replaces the Path of Enlightenment systems, enabling characters to confront moral dilemmas by managing stains and remorse. Gameplay mechanics have been simplified for clarity. The die system now features a fixed target number and incorporates bestial failures and messy criticals for more engaging outcomes. The updated damage system utilizes only superficial and aggravated damage, and willpower-based challenges offer a mechanism for resolving social conflicts, broadening the possibilities for interaction beyond physical confrontations. Additionally, advantages and flaws are now integral to character creation, moving on from an optional aspect to a core component. These attributes provide a balanced way to add depth to characters, presenting both strengths and vulnerabilities that enhance the gameplay experience and narrative richness. So having explained each edition for you for the last 15-ish minutes, which one is the best and where would the others go in relation to that? If we are looking at the core books alone, it would be from best to not so best, V20, V5, revised, second and then first. Now, that is not to say the first edition is bad, far from it, it is just not as polished as everything else. I am sure there are many of you who have already left a comment about your favourite edition and why my takes are wrong, and that's fine. Some of you may agree with me, and that is also fine. I will reiterate what I said at the beginning of the video. The best version of any game is the one that you all enjoy playing with your friends at your table. As long as you're all having fun, that's all that matters, and no one should poo-poo on other people's parades for playing a version of a game that you don't like. To be kept updated, follow the Law by Night VTM Instagram and Blue Sky pages to find out when we upload each episode. You can also find out by subscribing to the YouTube channel and clicking on the little bell, as you'll be immediately notified when the latest episode is live. Until next time, farewell.